Hi, and thanks for purchasing our Pharmaceutical Product Renders template for After Effects. In this tutorial, I will give you a quick overview of how this template is structured, and then take you through an example where I create a professional-looking shot for my product. So first things first, let's take a look at how this template is put together. When you open the project panel, you'll see a number of folders numbered from 0 to 5. The very first one on the top is where all of the assets are kept, and in most cases, you probably won't even need to go there. Now, folders numbered 1 to 5 are what we're going to be working with, and they are numbered in the exact sequence that you should use them in this project. Starting with designing your own 3D product, then picking a composition to create a particular shot, and then customizing it by swapping out different products, adding a background, and embellishing it with various graphical elements that will make up the final shot. Alright, so let's take this for a spin and see how you could use this template to create some great product renders for a promo video that you're producing. For this demo, I've created a made-up pharmaceutical ad, and what we're going to do is attempt to recreate it here in After Effects. As you can see, it has two different types of products, which is great, because it will allow us to test the full scope of this template. So the first thing we have to do is recreate these products as 3D objects within After Effects. To do that, let's open up the first folder called Product Designer. Here we have compositions for 4 different product types: a clear glass bottle, a round plastic bottle, a rounded plastic bottle, which is essentially like a square bottle with rounded corners, and finally one for a box type of packaging. For this demo, I'll be primarily focusing on the box packaging, so I simply double click on it to open the comp. Okay, so here in the timeline, we find a box control layer that allows us to adjust our product's dimensions, reflections, and other properties. To the right is an interactive dashboard that reflects any changes that you'll be making to your product. These 6 panels here act as shortcuts to replace any of the box textures. Finally, if I scrub through the timeline, the product rotates 360 degrees, which is very helpful to ensure that you haven't missed any textures and that they're all lining up. Now for a second, let me jump to bottle type of product to show a couple of small differences there. In general, the controls here are more or less the same, except that you have one additional layer called bottle type. Here you can switch between any available bottle variations. Now, unlike the box, all of the bottles are pre-rendered 3D assets, which means that you can't change their proportions. You can still change their scale, but you're limited to the shapes that come with the project. Here you'll also notice that it only has a single texture for the label, which makes it a lot easier to apply. Alright, so let's switch back to our box. Now to start, I want to change its proportions to match my reference box seen in the photo. In this case, I know its dimensions, so I'll just open up my box properties and enter them here. I also want to make sure that my hanger panel is enabled and set its height to 500 millimeters. When we look at the preview, we can see that our box dimensions have updated and it should now look just like our reference. And I'll switch between them. Yeah, that looks good to me. The textures are all over the place, but that's perfectly fine as that's the next thing that we'll be addressing. So I'll open up my textures folder. As you can see, I have 6 textures prepared for the box. That's my front, back, left, right, top, and an extra texture for the hanger panel. The very last one is my bottle texture. I import them here into After Effects, and to keep everything organized, I'll place them within my Assets and Label Designs folder. As you can see, my placeholder textures are also placed here. Now let's start applying them to each one of the sides. I'll start with the front. I double click on the front texture in my dashboard, and this takes me into the actual texture comp. Here I want to select the second layer, then select box front texture.png from the assets folder, and while holding the Alt key on the keyboard, I drag it over like this. Okay, I can see it's slightly offset, so I have to move it down like this. Okay, let's close this comp, and we see that the front label has updated on the box. Now I just repeat the same process to replace the remaining 5 textures. I'll spin the box around and make sure that all of the textures are lining up. Alright, perfect. The final step is to reposition the hole in the hanger panel as it seems to be a little low. To do that, I double click on the hanger panel texture, select the hanger panel hole layer, and move it up to its new position. And if we spin this around, we see that the hole on the back panel has automatically moved to the same position. Okay, so everything's looking good and it looks like our box is ready for some action. Let's pick one of the compositions and start working on our product shot. I'll expand the compositions folder where we have over 10 different product shots available for us to work with. And this is only the start, as there will be plenty more added here over time. These are various pre-animated templates that you can use to either introduce your product, show off your product's features, let's say highlight its ingredients, or you can use one as an end shot to display some sort of a call to action and to finish your ad. For demonstration purposes, I'll pick something more complex, so say this guy, end frame 01 site layout. Let's do a quick preview here to see what we've got. Okay, so as you can see, we already have our box and bottle in place, and everything's animating in nicely. When compared to my mockup ad, I can see that my box is looking a little small, so I'll open the scale property using the S key on the keyboard, and I'll set it to, say, 110. And let's just move this guy, kind of, maybe here. Now, the two pills in front of our box. They look like fish oil capsules, so let's swap them out for the same pills as seen on our packaging. Open up your Pick a Product folder, find Pills 5 White Rounded Flat, and use it to replace Pills 3 Clear layer in your timeline. Again, do this while holding the Alt key. And let's preview this. Okay, we're getting there. Next, let's move to our background. Blue is looking somewhat cold, so how about we pick something that complements our product colors? I'll go to Pick a Background folder, select Background 5, Diagonal, and use it to replace the very bottom layer in my timeline, Background 1, Gradient Color. Okay, well, let's just tweak that color a bit. I go into my background layer, select the top color correction layer, and shift the master hue setting to about 65. Add some saturation, and that should do it. Let's just preview this in our main comp. Alright, exactly what I was looking for. And now the very same way, you can go into all of the other elements you see here and adjust their copy or colors to your liking. And here's something that I ended up with. Finally, let's add a couple of extra elements to reinforce our messages. I'll open up my fifth folder where we have a bunch of different design elements. I'll drop in an FDA logo here in the corner to show off that it's a very safe product to use. And also a bottom bar graphic to promote the discount that we'll be offering at the launch period. Because why not, right? Let's just change those colors to match our color scheme. And here we go. I'll preview it one last time. As you can see, in under 10 minutes we have produced a slick call to action shot that looks just as good as anything you'd see on TV. And you can repeat this process to create an opening shot, a feature shot, or add a couple of slow motion beauty shots showing off your product. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helped to learn the basics of using this After Effects template.